my name is Christina Sanchez. I'm part of the Pilsen community group. I'll be focusing on the demographics and the church and community interaction, as well as sharing some of their strengths and weaknesses. So some important demographics include the 56.5% makeup of Hispanics in the Pilsen community, followed by both white and black communities at around 16%. The median education level is less than a high school graduate, and the families with income under the poverty line is at 23.9%, which are high. Crime, there is a lot of assaults and burglaries, so that's something we'll talk about later. So after analyzing the demographics, 3 prevalent and critical features were the education, income, and poverty levels. And it was interesting to learn there is a correlation among all 3, as low levels of education often translate to lower paying jobs. And in the city of Pilsen particularly, there were high numbers of service occupations, and those are often low paying jobs, which can attribute to poverty, because poverty can also mean not having sufficient funds to pay all monthly expenses. So after speaking to the church and their views of community needs, both a priest and pastor expressed their focus of need to be their spiritual needs and the need of finding rest in the Savior, Christ. And they understood that the community has a lot of needs, so they do have several ties to the community resources so they can refer people to, as well as knowing people in their congregations that do have access to these resources. So building those relationships to help each other. They do understand that their focus are on members of their congregations to help their needs, but they do obviously help people outside of the churches, and they do regulate and monitor that extensively to prevent people becoming dependent on them. And so some strengths of Pilsen are the rich Hispanic culture and the community aspect and community feeling. A lot of the people we spoke to expressed how much they love the Hispanic culture, and they felt like they were at home, and they really built upon it, especially in the in art. As I'll show you shortly, there's a lot of art to depict the injustices going on, and that's how they speak to the community to bring awareness and to motivate people's participation to use their voice, and that they do in a community, as well as hosting festivals to celebrate their culture and to just be with each other and celebrate who they are and where they come from. Here's some photos around the city of Pilsen. We'll see a lot of Peace for Peace, invitations to rallies, and different a lot of businesses promote a lot of the flyers. Here's about gentrification. Some weaknesses are the lack of police and their slow response time, as well as crime. For the lack of police time, the solution people are working on are trust building, community focused approaches, as well as a stronger Twitter presence where the police department shares the safety tips or notifications of workshops they're hosting. Another crime weakness is the crime with gang violence and large weapons that they have access to that not even police have. And some solutions I suggest is building the gap between the gang members and residents, and for the residents not to only depend on police to intervene and express their concern, but getting involved. And definitely using art to share their concern, and giving gang members the opportunity to use art to share their story and hopefully give a little more insight to build that bridge. After many interviews, we learned that social media is the #1 source that people use to gain information about the community. So that is what I would suggest community developers to use to share our information, is through social media. Thank you. Bye-bye.